Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Norwich Talk for another match preview. Norwich City travel to Sunderland tomorrow for a 12:30 p.m. kickoff live on Sky Sports. That is how I will be watching it. I won't be making the trip as I am away for the weekend. But as I said, we'll be watching it on the telly. Norwich City find themselves in a much better position than perhaps they did a few weeks ago in terms of the general positivity surrounding the club. It seems to have increased quite a lot, which is always positive. Pardon the double use of positive, but it is. Sunderland have had a good start to the season, haven't they? Currently fifth. Their results so far, I've got them to the side here. A 1-1 draw with Coventry on the opening day of the season, then a 3-2 win away at Bristol City. They lost in the first round of the EFL Cup, which is the Carabao Cup, to Sheffield Wednesday, who are in League One. Drew to QPR, lost to Sheffield United, but beat Stoke. Ironically, Alex Neil today has been sort of linked with a move to Stoke, as Sunderland tweeted that the manager and Stoke have open dialogue surrounding the job. Interesting that they tweet that. I've seen a few comments say it seems like a contract ploy. My opinion is I wouldn't be surprised. I don't really know what the appeal of Stoke is when you're managing Sunderland. Now, a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I would have understood why you wanted to manage Stoke instead, but Sunderland seemed to be on the up as a club, considering where they had been in the past. Alex Neil, very positive first few months at Sunderland, getting them promoted via the playoffs again at Wembley. We know what a rich history he has there. But yeah, that's kind of an update on Sunderland and how they're doing. I think I'll start these videos by talking a little bit about the away team, or the opposing team, first. Now, into the lineup. This is influenced by the win against Millwall, but also by the draw and then loss on penalties against Bournemouth. I watched both games. I was at the Bournemouth game. It is my opinion on that. It was a draw, I guess. It was quite entertaining, just as a footballing spectacle. But into the lineup, I want to go with Tim Krull in goal. Timmy Krull, at this point, as I kind of have said in the past few videos, I don't see him being displaced unless he gets injured. He's not done much wrong. Angus Gunn was phenomenal against Bournemouth. We should have lost that game by 3 or 4 goals, but he pulled off some absolutely world-class saves, and then was kind of let down by the team in the end. The penalties, he was never going to get anywhere near, was he? My back line, which feels wrong to say, is Kenny McLean, Andrew Omobamidele, Grant Hanley, and Max Aarons. Omobamidele, cruise control for the Millwall game, phenomenal, wonderful player, absolute Rolls Royce of a centre back. I can't remember, it might have been Gabelli on Twitter said there's sort of characteristics that you see from Virgil van Dijk when watching Omobamidele play, which is he looks like he's in first or second gear, just strolling along, making everything look effortless. Very good on the ball, prone to being caught out a couple of times. Let's not get carried away, but a phenomenal footballer, and given the standards of Norwich City centre backs, yeah, he is the cream of the crop. Hanley, yeah, he's sort of slipping into the Gibson category for me, which is not great. He's decent in the air, but his one-on-one defending so far this season has been poor, as has Ben Gibson's. It's just a case of I think he's slightly better than Ben Gibson. That's about it, really. Max Aarons, too good for the league. Don't know if he's good enough really for sort of a Premier League team, to be honest with you, because when he's been in the no, that's a lie. When he's been in the Premier League, he's been very good. But linked with a couple of moves away in terms of on loan. I don't know why he's still at Norwich. I don't know how Norwich have managed to sort of swing that one. Maybe he just really is a patient guy who loves the club. I've read that he's open to a move away, but if he's here, you're going to play him. Kenny McLean left back. You kind of have to make that choice, really, don't you? I think it's okay until we dip into the market and get ourselves a new one. Hopefully that is much sooner rather than later. My midfield 3, I'm gonna put them all up at once. So Gibbs, Sarah, Nunes. You can kind of decide, and they can decide amongst themselves who goes where essentially during the game. I think Gibbs is most likely to be the deepest of the 3. Nunes, as I said after the Millwall game, as close to a 10 as possible and really unlock his potential would be great. So confident on the ball, really good at switching the play as well. There's a couple of clips from the Millwall game where he just did it so effortlessly. And that's such an important characteristic of a team, because it allows you to get up the pitch in a different way to sort of vertical passing, where sometimes teams will sit back and hit you with the low block, and you think, right, well, how am I supposed to pass my way around this? Bang, big switch of play from Nunez is how to unlock that, really. Sarah was pretty good against Bournemouth. I think he looked really tidy. I remember the Birmingham game where he came on, or he started and he came on in the league, and wasn't really able to get involved too much. But against Bournemouth, he looked really composed and he looked like the number 8 that we'd sort of been crying out for. Really, and I think him paired with Liam Gibbs, who I think has been an absolute revelation this season. You know, everyone else has really taken to him. Dean Smith definitely has, but he's just such a calm player, and he's not weak at all, which is quite interesting. But yeah, big fan of Liam Gibbs in that midfield 3. The argument against it is it could get quite lightweight, but I think, especially when playing an Alex Neil team, I think he will try to play football. And when you try and play football against Norwich City, and especially this Norwich City team who have this new sort of Dean Smith counter-pressing technique, as well as Daniel Farke's former sort of ingraining of integration, of sort of pass first and shoot later, essentially. I think that's sort of a good combination to make Norwich one of the best sort of footballing teams in the league. Todd Camwell and Onel Hernandez play behind Josh Sargent for me. Now, it's a difficult one, really, because Adam Eder is back, scored against Bournemouth. Timu Pukki, fully fit. 2 really good options, one proven, one not so proven, but clearly very hungry to prove himself. But Josh Sargent has to stay up front against Millwall. It was superb, phenomenal. I kind of gave my thoughts after the game in terms of sort of the 2 goals being different for good for different reasons. The first goal being a really good sort of striker's finish, very clinical, from a really nice move. The second being like something you'd see Grant Holt do, sort of hustling between 2 defenders, getting himself up the pitch into the right position, and not looking at the sort of the teammate to make the pass, just getting your head down, scoring the goal. More of that, please. And there's no reason to believe he won't be able to do that more this season. Onel Hernandez, I want him in there because I think away from home, especially, his sort of direct ability and ability to take players on, you know, characteristics we used to describe Milot Rashica with. Rashica would ideally be the player, but he's just not great at all. Onel Hernandez, very good at taking players on. And I think next to him, Todd Camwell sort of creates that perfect blend, that perfect balance, really. Camwell has that ability to sort of just create something out of nothing. And he takes players on like Hernandez does, but he does it in a different way. Hernandez sort of will drive at you and twist and turn. Campbell just sort of effortlessly glides past you. And, you know, he missed a penalty against Bournemouth, but I'm really not fussed about that. It was kind of unlucky. I'm a believer of when you take a penalty, you should just try and stick it as far into the corner as you can. He tried to do that. You missed. Sometimes it happens. Going out of the cup isn't the worst thing. I think he'll be very hungry to sort of prove himself and make himself feel better in a way after that. That's my lineup. In terms of my predictions and final preview for the game, I'm feeling quite positive. I can't imagine the squad will look too similar to what it did against Bournemouth. But that said, you know, Norwich have got pretty decent depth for this level, haven't they? We need a left back sooner rather than later. I'm backing Norwich to get the result. So thank you very much for watching. Your thoughts in the comments down below are what I would love to know. As ever, a thumbs up would also be appreciated. Subscribe to if you fancy it, and I'll see you again very, very soon.